Today we are in Ticknock Forest in South County Dublin with the Škoda ENYAQ Coupe, and the reason you'd know that is that with that sloping roofline. Towards the front of the car, A to B pillar is probably the same as the regular Škoda, but then once you go past that B pillar, it is starting to become more of a coupe SUV. Starting at the front, you have a large Škoda badge, then you have some serious creases coming down the bonnet. Comes in 9 different colours, and on the coupe, on this coupe, we have that crystal grille. Some people really like it, some people think it's a bit too blingy. Around the edge you have that chrome opening, and on the Sportline version then everything turns black. So trim wise we're getting the 60, the 80 and the 80X, which is that all-wheel drive. Then you're getting Sportline, and then you're getting VS. I think it's called the super sporty trim in the Mamba green that you may have seen. Moving around, you have those LED lights, you have some gloss black in underneath here, very angular. This is based on the MEB platform, same as the ID4, same as obviously the Skoda ENYAQ, but also the Q4 e-tron, and now the Cupra Tavascan that has recently been on my channel. I'll stick the link up on the screen. So very angular at the front, very muscular, masculine, no frunk in underneath. Moving down along the side, you can get these in 19s, 20s and 21s, and sometimes the tyres are staggered, so you've got 235s in the front on this one and 255 on the back, so that's usually the combination. Nice little decal here, totally aesthetic, doesn't do anything for the actual aero of the car. And then you've got your gloss black roof, but it actually is a panoramic sunroof, large body coloured wing mirror with that indicator built in, and they are retractable. You can see down along the side here, you've got that body coloured cladding in underneath, body coloured door handles, but they're actual proper handles rather than the ones that are flush. You've got your gloss black B pillar, and again, that window surround, you have that chrome element on the Sportline that will be black. Size of the Škoda ENYAQ, it is 4.6 meters long, 1.9 meters wide, 1.6 meters tall, and a wheelbase of 2.8. So again, based on that MEB platform, you're putting the wheels right out towards the end. With it being such a large SUV and at the frontal area as well, I'll put the drag coefficient on the screen, but there are some aero elements in here where you have that air slot on the side that brings that air down over the wheel on it, but otherwise it is a really nice car. Let's have a look around the back.
This video is in partnership with Nevo.ie, Ireland's only dedicated electric vehicle platform. Browse every electric vehicle, make, model, new and used on Nevo.ie. You can view each model in different colours, learn about the different specs and features, and watch even more EV reviews. You can compare your favourite models with the handy comparison tool and plan your next trip with an EV journey planner. Head over to Nevo.ie today to learn more.
Moving down along the rear, and you have your charging port like all ID models on the passenger side, sorry, the driver side on right-hand drive, passenger side left-hand drive. AC, you've got 11 kilowatt, and DC, depending on the battery size, and it comes in 2 different battery sizes, a 58 kilowatt hour and a 77 kilowatt hour. With that 58 kilowatt hour, you'll know that designation because it's on the back, it's Škoda ENYAQ, either the 60 or the 80. So the 60 is the 58 kilowatt hour and the 80 is the 77 kilowatt hour. If it is the smaller battery size, you will be getting a DC rating peak of 120 kilowatt, and if it's the larger battery, you've got a DC rating of 135. So depending on the battery will dictate that. WLTP ranges, they're saying between 400 and 550. Moving down, and this is where the business end comes in with regards to the sloping coupe roofline. You've got that gloss black aerial, really strong LED lights, but actually not coast to coast. Kind of a spoiler built into the actual bodywork itself. Large Škoda badging, still has the old S with regards to the branding. ENYAQ on the left, IV, which stands for Intelligent Vehicle on the right, and then that designation of the size of the battery really. You will get that 80 with an X after, which means it's an all-wheel drive. Boot, electronic tailgate, and it is kick operated as well. It is massive. It is 530 litres, and if you knock down that seat, that brings it up to 1700 litres. You've got your parcel shelf on the top, but it is wide, it is deep. I think it's the biggest of all of the IDs, so it's bigger than the Q4 e-tron, it's bigger than the ID4. So if you're looking for space, the Škoda ENYAQ and the Škoda ENYAQ Coupe should be on your list. Now, up to shoulder line, it is, if not bigger than its brother, the regular Škoda ENYAQ, but then above that, because of that sloping roofline, it is starting to be lesser than the regular ENYAQ. It's a 40-60 split in the back with that ski hatch, and then you have some spacing underneath for some charging cables or some compressor kit for your car. You've got your Type 2 cable in here, and then with that Skoda, always thinking clever kind of, you have got your shopping bags hooks, you've got a 12 volt, you've got some tie-off points, and you've got some cargo holders, so really practical here in the back of the Škoda ENYAQ. Inside the Škoda ENYAQ, it is a lot of ID fare that we're used to, but it is that Skoda, so it has that practicality of actually having tactile buttons. On the door, you've got a really nice combination of the brown, the black, and the gloss with some chrome handles, actual physical handles. You've got a nice little floating shelf with your windows front and rear, again unlike its ID4 brother, and you've got your side view mirror adjustment. You've got some storage for bottles because the water bottle actually won't fit in the central dash, which is a bit of a negative. Over my right knee, you've got some light, you've got the poor weather lighting, you've got automatic lights. Then you've got your 2-spoke steering wheel. You have, on the left hand side, you've got your voice control, heated steering wheel and mode selectors. On the right hand side, it's very much all to do with the likes of the cruise control. Behind that, you have your regenerative braking paddles. Behind that, on the left hand side, you've got your light stock. On the right side, you've got your window wipers, etc. And over your left knee, you've got your cruise control. The steering wheel itself is reach and rake. In front of me, I have a little 7-inch screen, and above that then on this model, you've got a head-up display in there as well. Moving over, you've got a large infotainment HMI Volkswagen Group model, but this one doesn't have any issues with illuminated light bar at the bottom. It is, the bottom bar is only to do with volume, and there is a haptic button for power on and power off. This is wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and it has its own Škoda elements of being able to navigate, etc., etc. You've got a frameless mirror, you've got a nice tidy head unit, you've got your vanity mirrors with your lights, etc. And then in all of the Škoda ENYAQ Coupes, you've got a panoramic sunroof across all 8 different models here in Ireland. Underneath the central vents then, so you've got this tobacco leather in this model, so you've got the leather, you've got the gloss black, you've got some silver and chrome. Underneath that, you've got some physical buttons, but they are really only shortcuts for the buttons on the actual built into the information in the infotainment screen. You've got some wireless charging, you've got those small cup holders, mainly for coffee cups, etc. You've got some storage behind that, your little pill drive mode selector, your handbrake, but there is auto hold on this actual model, and you've got your little coin holder. Armrest with practicality again. Like on the windscreen, we've got the holder for the parking ticket. The seats are fully electric and adjustable with lumbar support. Good size, the practicality. You also have the likes of this kind of a half glove box. So again, penalty of being a right-hand drive. Pretty much everything on the front of the inside of the Škoda ENYAQ. It is a step above the ID4. Is it as traditional as the Q4 e-tron? Probably not. The seat is set for me. I'm 188 centimeters, 6'2". Let's have a seat in the back to see what the space is like. In the back of the Škoda ENYAQ, you have practicality again. So on the B pillar, you have got some coat hooks. In this model, you have the blinds that go up as well. The seat set for me, as we talked about, is 188 centimeters, 6'2", and I have a couple of centimeters, and I've got plenty space in underneath as well. This one has an interesting bit where the actual set, it's a flat floor in the back of the Škoda ENYAQ, but this has kind of like a plastic tray for holding stuff. So they're probably saying that this is really a 4-seater rather than a 5-seater, even though you will fit 5 smaller adults in the rear. It has 3 ISOFIX, 1 in the front and 2 in the back. On the door, you've just got your own window up and down, and you've got a little pocket in underneath. You've got tri-zone climate control, so front passenger, driver, and then in the rear you also have the ability, and in this model you've got heated seats as well. 2 USB Type-Cs for charging. In the back of the chairs you have some pockets as well for a mobile device and for more of a larger magazine, tablet, etc. And then we have the armrest and the cup holders in here as well with that ski hatch if you want it. Really nice to be in the back of the Škoda ENYAQ, and what they've done is they've cut out the headroom. You can see on the roof profile, my headroom height here is about 4 or 5 centimeters. Thigh support is actually fairly good as well. I know that some of you asked me that in the comments. So on the back, it's as nice as the front in the Škoda ENYAQ. Let's take it out for a drive. Driving the Škoda ENYAQ Coupe, and very similar to its bigger brother, the regular Škoda ENYAQ, but it has that option of rear wheel drive, which is the default across all of the ID range on that MEB platform, and the Audi Q4 e-tron, and now the Tavascan with Cupra. So it is a lovely smooth drive. It is a fairly hefty vehicle at over 2 tons weight, but yeah, really nice, very little road noise. We're here in Ticknock, so it is slow moving, but on the motorway as well, very good, very comfortable. And that external noise is insulated very much from the cabin. With these 19-inch wheels, they're good as well with regards to efficiency. That real world range of, you're probably taking about 80 to 90 kilometers off that WLTP, so that smaller battery or entry-level battery at that 58 kilowatt hour. They're saying 400 kilometers, but you're probably talking near 300 just because of the weight of this vehicle. And then that larger 77 kilowatt hour battery they're saying is 550. Real world, you're probably getting low 400s. You have visibility is really good all the way around. That A-pillar doesn't block too much. Those wing mirrors, I always said on the MEB platform, really, really nice. This has blind spot. This has a head-up display as well. And visibility out the rear is really nice. Steering wheel is on the larger side. Somebody did comment that it reminds them of driving a bus, but I don't think that's the case. It's not fair to say, and it's nice to have those regenerative braking paddles and the option on it. There is an automatic D mode and then a second stage B mode. There isn't one pedal driving in that Škoda, whether it's the ENYAQ or the ENYAQ Coupe or across any of the MEB platform with Volkswagen. Brakes are good, acceleration is good. Like, it's starting to become the norm. The body of this, or the base skateboard platform, is the best selling EV in Ireland of all time. We got this notification, press release a couple of weeks ago. So the ID4 has 6,000 on the road. I don't know how many Škodas and how many Q4s are on the road, but the MEB platform overall is the most popular electric vehicle. And you can see why. It is not too crazy. It is a brand, and brands that we all know, like and trust. Prices, they're coming in at mid-50s to mid-70s, depending on if it's the entry-level 60, which is that standard level battery, all the way up to the RS version, which we have in that Mambo green. Taking those speed bumps nice and easy as well. So driving, braking, acceleration, visibility, head-up display. You have also an app with the Škoda, so you can lock, unlock, check the status of the battery, turn on air conditioning, heating or cooling, and so lots of functionality, lots of usability. That infotainment screen with the physical buttons underneath, again, trumps the ID4, ID5 siblings. But as we know on the channel, we have the ID7, so that is a new interface. This hasn't got that, even though it's the bigger screen. The Taviscan also has the same as this screen. So starting to see that the ability of that Volkswagen group, that group buying power, etc. Heat pumps aren't coming as standard on the Skoda ENYAQ Coupe or any of the Škodas, so you make sure that if you're interested in eking out as much range in that colder or warmer weather, that it is one of the options that you tick. And there are a number of options on this, even though this is the IV80, not the X. This one plus the extras, which are the likes of the head-up display, etc. This vehicle that I'm test driving today is coming in at around that 70,000 euros. So yeah, they like to add on the extra packs depending on what you're looking for. In the interior of the Skoda ENYAQ, you're going to have 6 different coloured trim levels, fabrics, materials. So depending on the trim, depending on what you want, you actually have, 8 different trim levels. Power on the Škoda, you're going to have on the 60, which is that entry-level battery, it's a 132 kilowatt motor given 180 brake horsepower, and then the 80s is a 150 kilowatt motor rear wheel giving 204 horsepower and 310 newton meters of torque. The 80X, which is the all-wheel drive, is 195 kilowatts over both axles, giving 255 horsepower and 425 newton meters. And then the top of the line Sporty RS is 220 kilowatts across both axles, giving 295 horsepower and 460 newton meters of torque. It can tow depending on the size of the battery. So entry-level battery can tow 1,000 kgs, and then the all-wheel drive bigger battery can tow 1,200 kgs. That towing pack costs around 1,000 euros. We talked about the boot already. It's actually 575 litres. 0 to 100 in the Skoda ENYAQ Coupe is 8.7 seconds for the entry level, all the way up to the RS, which is 6.5. drive. Hopefully you've enjoyed my review of the Skoda ENYAQ. Make sure you like, subscribe and comment, and remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.